Hopefully we're back. I know people won't be here right away, but that's a huge bummer. We had a brand new person come into the stream and the stream froze, and now I doubt he'll be back. So cool. That is the most frustrating shit ever. Yeah, it does suck. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. And I don't know what it is. I have a lot of my computer needs an update. It needs a cleaning. It needs hardware replacements, and I don't have the means at the moment. But it needs to be done, and because it's bottlenecking. I think I don't know where it's bottlenecking exactly, but I know my graphics card is behind the 8-ball, and my processor seems to be just, I don't know, it just gets bogged down. That and my C drive is like crammed full, and I don't know why. I don't know. I hope John Platt finds his way over here. It was really great that he found the stream. I like when people organically find the stream. I don't, as far as updates go, my OBS should be updated completely. As far as I know. It's completely up to date. I'm just not going to go back to that video and trying to broadcast it, because it's obviously putting, between streaming that off of YouTube and then also putting it into like through OBS, it's too much. So we'll just chat, and maybe we'll look at memes all night on Twitter. Oh my God, I saw, did you guys see the new singer for Linkin Park? I don't care. Like, I will make it perfectly clear. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit who's the lead singer, who becomes the lead singer. I think a woman could do it. I think a man can do it. This isn't a men versus women thing. But the singer, the video that I saw was atrocious of her singing, and I don't know if that video was doctored at all in any way, but it was so bad to listen to. Chester is rolling in his grave right now, if that is like what she actually sounded like. And no, you know, there was moments that like for a split second sounded okay, or like that could pass as Chester, or you know, it'll never be him, but like, oh, like she's kind of hitting the notes. And then there's others where I just thought, whoa, wow. I'm like beyond pissed right now, just so everyone knows. I'm like beyond pissed. Like, I'm beyond pissed that the stream crashed. Like, I don't think people realize, like, when people say that streaming is harder than regular. Like, I think that's all bullshit. I'll tell you that streaming for any amount of time, and like when things really hit, when things hit, they hit. When they don't hit, it is like I would rather. I don't know. It totally took the wind out of my sails. 100%. Anyways, here's this singer. I want you to hear for a second what this is like. So that's all I'm going to play of that. And what I'm hearing is they tried to find someone. This makes me think two things. That Linkin Park, to some degree, wanted to put someone out front who sounded like Chester. And I think to some degree they did. And I think the other part is maybe that they were like, hey, you know what would be really cool? And we'd be progressive by putting a woman out there. Because we got to give women a chance. I think that was for sure a thing. Just me guessing. This is what I just heard, and what you guys just heard is basically it's Chester with every bit of emotion stripped out of it. There's nothing, there's no heart. There's no heart in that. Chester was a deeply troubled soul, and it came out in his music, in his voice. And that song, I think, was one of those that you just felt like his pain when you heard the song. So does she sort of mimic the same notes, and like, can she hit similar notes? Sure. As a woman, she seems to be able to hit those notes that Chester hit in the same sort of way, but without any depth, without any emotional depth. It is oof. It's let's see this One Step Closer clip. Ugh. Maybe it's an off night. And I listened to 7 seconds, but I also don't want to get hit with like copyright. Like, that's oh yeah, it's a cheap imitation, you know. Well, here's the thing, right? So you have that dude from Journey. You have that Korean dude who now fronts for Journey, who sounds just like him. What the hell is the guy's name who's singing for Journey? Well, what's his name? Arnel Pineda is the guy's name now. Or he's from the Philippines. I'm sorry, not Jesus. Who was the original front man? Steve Perry. Sorry. But like, so the new frontman for Journey sounds just like Steve Perry, with all the soul and depth. Like, you could tell that guy wants to be on stage and is trying to be Steve Perry. They missed an opportunity to have a talent that could bring their own emotions to the songs. Yeah. Well, the thing is that Chester's like voice was incredibly unique. Like, like what I'm saying, like for such a troubled individual, like and depressed, and like he had so much pain that he was holding back, and to some extent we didn't know until obviously it was too late. But like you look back on his music now, and you think like this all makes sense. It all makes sense, like why he is the way he is. Someone says she sounds like Courtney Love, but with talent. I don't know about that, but brutal. Here's a controversial take. Here's a controversial take. And I want, first of all, I love Hypnotic. I love Hypnotic. And I'm not bashing him. I don't care. I don't care that the Minecraft movie looks the way it does. Because I don't necessarily disagree with Kotaku here. This statement has been like co-opted and twisted into oblivion. Minecraft, and again, like, roast me all you want. Minecraft is for my 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old. And that's where it is. And they will love this movie. I guarantee you, they will love this. I didn't say it looked great. I didn't say it looked great. Now, there's another discussion that can happen for casting choices. Are we sick of seeing Jack Black and stuff like this? Sure. I think Jack Black has gotten to a point that he's a bit cringe. Right? I think he's now a 50 something year old guy who's still pretending that he's 25. Right? And I think it's just not quite working for him. I don't see any problem with this headline necessarily. Everyone's pissed because Kotaku's saying it. Nobody likes Kotaku for good reason. This movie is not for me. It's not for anyone in this audience right now. It's not made for 20-plus-year-olds who grew up with the game. Like, our time with it is done. And sure, you might be able to go to see this movie and enjoy it, but this movie is 100% made for all the kids who are still playing on Minecraft servers, who are learning coding for Minecraft and all that, and who are just going to find it to be a funny, silly, stupid thing. You got to retire off into the sunset. I wish they'd stop trying to put him in everything. Dude, I agree. Again, that's a different discussion. But everyone mad at the fact that this movie doesn't appeal to the 25 to 40 crowd who like started Minecraft. Like, it's not made for you. Minecraft is not your game. Like, sure, you can still play it. Like, no one's saying you can't play Minecraft and enjoy it. Fuck, I'm building a Minecraft server for people to play on. I'm not building it. I have really awesome, talented people working on it for everyone to enjoy. Let me correct before I get fucking roasted about that. But this movie is 100% for children. And you know, everyone dressed up in silly outfits because you can change yourself into silly outfits all the time. Now, again, there's another discussion to be had about how dumb, what's his name looks. Can't think of his name. Jason Momoa. He looks ridiculous. That haircut looks stupid. Yeah, the Jumanji sequels were cringe. Like, And these are all separate discussions. To put a bow on this thing, like Kotaku is right in this, it's not made for adults, it's made for kids. Kids are going to probably eat it up. The little stupid animals, they look hilarious as far, through the lens of a child. Do they look cringe to us? Absolutely. Jack Black playing Steve, yeah, and I'm sure it's gonna be some like weird, like, hey, I got lost here forever, blah blah blah, whatever. I think there's totally better people they could have had as actors, but and it's entirely possible that this movie could surprise a lot of people. I'm not saying it's going to be some film like some crazy foundation of filmmaking, They aren't doing the movie justice. I but what would do? I guess what would do the movie justice? That it had a younger cast. Is that what you mean? Because I think aesthetically, the movie will hit. But yeah, the cast is strange. The cast is strange. Animated, yeah. There's a lot of animated Minecraft movies, though. But this was also a teaser, so we don't know why there's real people in it. But yeah, it doesn't quite reflect the Minecraft world, because in Minecraft, everything is blocky. Whereas like in this, it's like part of it is a weird animated blocky and part of it looks like real. So that's odd. But again, and this is something I'll say because I have kids and I've watched a few movies recently, and the really, really cool thing about having kids and watching movies with them is you realize what it is that they're paying attention to. Like, bring my kids to certain movies, I sit there and I think, wow, this is like really like cringy. It's not great. It's not good. But my kids will sit there and they'll laugh and they'll enjoy it because they're looking at this movie from a totally different perspective. They're not looking at it with 39 years of, film critique, or, 20 years of film critique. They're looking at it with 7 years of life, 3 of which are like mostly conscious and they remember and they just know what makes them laugh. So there's multiple ways of judging how this movie could succeed and be good. And with only a teaser right now, we don't really have much of a basis for anything other than like there's some cringy aspects that don't quite measure up with what we know of Minecraft. But is that what kids care about ultimately? That these are like, we're bringing this to an audience of children. Are they going to care? Are they going to nitpick in the same way that the adults are? Probably not. And laugh it up, kids. Your day will come. Yeah. What's up, John D? My son wanted to watch Batman Caped Crusader last weekend on Roku. The series is garbage. Yeah. And the thing is, too, is like we know that series is garbage. Your son may watch that and go, yeah, you know what? Like, that was cool because that's the first time I've ever seen Batman this way or the Penguin this way or whatever. It doesn't make them wrong to like it. It just means like they don't understand what is wrong with it. They're not seeing it with all the history behind it. It's like the first iteration of Sonic. They're doing this weird cringe hyperrealism with a medium that wasn't meant for it. Yeah, no, I see what you mean. And I agree to an extent. Yeah. They won't even be going to movies. It'll all be TikTok by then. They'll have to watch 430-second clips of it on TikTok. Or by then maybe TikTok will just go to long format content. Now they allow up to 10-minute videos on TikTok. It's weird. Yeah, TikTok subscription $14.99. It's true. We're on our way there. Speaking of TikTok, should I try and find a debate? I was just thinking about that. Or if anyone wants to argue. Pro-life is abuse. Oh boy. I really want to make a shirt. I really want to make a shirt and sell it on the TikTok shop that just says this. Let me know when you get the joke, because I think that would be awesome. Like, that's what I want. That's what I want. Who knows? He knows the old Batman series in the 90s. They used the same 40s backdrop, but the killing, cussing, and change of characters ruined it. Yeah, no, totally. I think the new one was stupid. I want to make that shirt with that saying on it and see how many I can sell. Could make $1 million just eating crumble cookies each week when they come out. Oh, I love these. Former Republican, newly registered Democrat, voting for freedom. Why aren't you? Like, what do you mean? Like, and now everyone's a Russian spy. Yeah, dude, I'm hearing the same thing. Ah, man, dude, I wish Russia would pay me. Bro, yeah, you know what? For sure, I'm definitely a Russian asset. If I start getting paid $100,000 a week, you'll know something's up. What's up, Teeks? Teeks over on Twitch. What's going on, man? Comrade Jag. Shag Raid. Shag Red. Com Shag. Is that thing? Com Shag. Embrace it. Yeah. Ooh, this is a good one. Real patriots, MAGA fascists. Republicans are publicly denouncing Trump, and it's about damn time. Yo, what up, Static? What's going on, brother? That 6-month badge you got. Thanks, boss. Appreciate that. Did barely no one play Concord? Yeah, no one played. I think it peaked at like nearly 700 concurrent players, and then fell from there. And they just shut down. Well, they're shutting the servers down tomorrow, and they've already started offering refunds. 11 months. Oh, because you don't get the next badge until for another month. So next month you'll get your 1-year badge. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. I love it. Thanks, brother. Static going for that. Static going for that high score. Let's go. Concord didn't even live as long as the common housefly. Yeah, dude, it's sad to see. It's really sad to see. And so people will say, "Oh, fuck that game, fuck those people." Here's the thing, though, and this is why I don't want to see games. I don't want to see games fail, because there are real people behind within the studio that have families, and they're not all just like bad people, quote unquote. And like, that's a huge bummer. Like, those people they're going to be out of a job. And you could blame capitalism, and you could blame you know, these corporate whatever. But you know, I feel bad for the people who work hard. You know, they just show up and clock in, do their stuff, and they're passionate about what they do, and they're good at what they do. It died from being mediocre. Yeah, it did. Yeah, Dustborn was no. See, I don't know if Dustborn really like affected it all that much, but it came out because Sony didn't care. Sony didn't make anyone. It didn't help anyone like get amped for it. Like who? Like what it came down to is who cares? It's not like we don't even know what's really there. We don't know what it's about. Who cares? It's how capitalism is designed, though. It's not a fault. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just it's a weird. Yeah, and that's likely what'll happen. I don't think you'll see any more of this game. I think they might mention it here and there, but I think ultimately they take the L, write it off as a loss, and that's it. And on to the next project. That's a long time for a game to be in development just to say goodbye. A long time. The only good thing was that they took. I think it. They didn't. They didn't keep this going any longer than they needed to. If that makes sense, like they are offering refunds, seeing how poorly this has been received, knowing like this isn't going anywhere. So everyone's getting a refund, and that's it. I just don't see how they come back from it. I don't see how they make enough changes to the game to have people be like, "Oh, okay, like this is cool now." You know, I think it worked for Overwatch because they already had a solid foundation. The game was really good, um, but they knew that people weren't going to keep paying for that game, and they knew they had no single player story to offer anyone. They were just going to keep it online. And the game, you know, the thing is with Concord, they were going in multiple directions with it. They were going to go the route of releasing story missions, like single player story missions, like each week, and you would get a little bit more here and there. Um, but now, I mean, obviously that none of that's happening now. Sony did screw the pooch though, and it's total crap. The people making those bad decisions won't be as affected as the devs, testers, and such. Right. And there, and I think that's one of the things that people are really upset about is this, is that they can't, like the people who really should be held accountable for it aren't going to be. There's no one really going to lose their job over this, and instead they're going, you know, a lot of the devs, testers, and such are going to be cut loose. If they're smart and can swing it financially, they'd reskin and re-release for free with store mods for skins and whatnot. Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't even know if that is possible at the moment. Like, I don't know if people would be like, "Oh, okay, cool," you know, yeah, let's do that. Rumor has it that Japan is looking to raise the PS5 consoles to 20% due to like make them 20% more expensive. That wouldn't be smart. Well, the only reason I would see them doing that is, I mean, these next gen consoles are being sold at a loss. So, um, maybe they're trying to recruit some money from them, but yeah, they've been selling these. I mean, even the Xbox Series X, it costs more money to make. It, like it, they are losing money every time that they sell one. So yeah, but again, like this is what happens. And again, companies will continue to make them as long as people buy them. Games will keep being released in early access and be in like development hell until people stop investing in them. Like as soon as you realize like I don't care if people buy an early access game, but you'll know really quickly in an early access game within that 2 hour window generally if this game has a real playable cycle and if it's worth your time. And sometimes you can go just a little bit over that like window, but as long as you stay within that 2 week, 2 hour range, you're fine. Play your hour and 45 minutes. And if it doesn't like hold up or have the right stuff in it, get rid of it, refund it, and then write a review. And then stop purchasing games and don't repurchase that game until it's full release. And then what I would do is I would look at what other streamers are doing and then make the best decision from there. But people just got to stop. People have got to stop with the early access stuff. Like very few people are playing those games and putting in like constructive feedback. They're and like making videos and trying to help out with their constructive criticism. Whoa, that's entirely too much effort, Jax. Well, we're gonna keep getting shit ass games, and these companies are gonna keep fucking steamrolling you with these crap games that just stay in a crap development cycle. There's been a lot of dev companies that put out games that they're functional to a degree, and then they just basically take your money and run. They don't ever fully release it. And part of it is like I think Steam and other platforms need to come up with some reasonable dev window, right? Like I think even Indiegogo has basically said if your comic isn't released in a certain time frame, it's going to issue refunds, which makes sense. Same thing with Steam. Steam should be offering refunds to people if a game is not completed within a certain development window. Call me crazy, but I know some games they do hit certain development walls, but you should be able to justify it, right? Oh well, this is what's going on, so we have to hold out. Okay, well then write up something formal, attach some proof to it, and then go from there. You shouldn't just be able to keep something in early access forever and ever and ever because we don't know. We're a small team. Well, that's great. You're a small team, but you need if you're gonna put it up on an early access, it should be in a certain place. Small dev team or not. Call me crazy. Bro, it's wild to me that people think Trump's a fascist. Kamala is 10 times better than Trump. Debate me. Wouldn't make sense for a pro. PS5 is backward compatible with the older versions. The new games are a majority of reboot and remakes. Yeah. What's up, Dudge Butters? Good to see you, man. Yeah. The PS5 was problematic in that way anyway. Like I like playing on my PS5, but there's not a whole lot of like first party like you need this machine. Most of them were cross platform. Cross gen. Sony is infected by retarded. Yeah, unfortunately. All right, what else have I got in here? I kind of want to listen to what this guy has to say. Will you come along with me?
Everything that the orange man says. And we don't just go and lap it up like dogs drinking water. We actually read We actually care about the things that are going to be proposed for the future. And the majority of us in this country are actually going to care about making sure that we can actually have a better country. So what's going to happen is the overwhelming majority of Americans, like the 81 million of us that fired Donald Trump out of office, danced in the streets when he was trying to overturn the election. Yeah, see, we're going to take care of this country by making.
And also burned several city blocks and destroyed businesses. Yeah, all those happy, good people.
4 years and made the record high of people in credit card debt.
Get ready for it. Get ready for it. You don't give a fuck. You don't.
No, because you guys put the rest of the country in the highest rate of credit card debt.
Get ready for it. Get ready.
But you guys are proud of that, right?
Get ready for it. It's going to happen. I feel sorry for you.
You know, grocery stores make a profit of 1.2% on average. So this price gouging thing is bullshit, and you guys
kind of like how Kroger just admitted that they literally were price gouging way more than the cost of inflation. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, it's great. It's great. It's great. It's so funny to me, right, that you're struggling so much that you're caping for billionaires and CEOs right now. That's what you're caping for. The people who are
No, Democrats are. Is this guy insane? Democrats are caping for, you know, big business. That's what it's been the past 4 years. It's insane.
Bonuses right now. Why are they making record profits right now? Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? If they're not making enough money, why are they doing that?
The biggest mistake that Trump made was his deals with Big Pharma surrounding the coup. The real problem with trying to compare Trump's economy and Biden's economy is because like the coup really fucked things up. It's a huge anomaly in the grand scheme of things, right? Like you're seeing what you're seeing is not a typical trend in our economy. I think we're just coming out of it, or we came out of it like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. But it's really hard to tell like where these things are coming from, and a lot of times policies implemented by certain presidents don't really show their face until the middle of the next administration. It's really an important point.
Gonna be out of office soon.
Hey, how's your Democratic governor doing? Because she gave the absolute blues to y'all. Y'all tried to get her out twice and it didn't happen. What happened?
Pretty shitty. She's a shitty governor.
Oh, it's almost like the majority of Kansans didn't give a fuck what you had to say.
But we're still a red state, so does it matter?
And hey, MAGA. Hey, remember when y'all tried to go and
one of the big problems I have with people is like, and I'm not going to say the word dangerous, but the fact that the term MAGA has been turned into this pejorative that you can't like everyone who subscribes to the term MAGA they're all thinking the same way and they believe the same thing. And I can want to make America great again, but not subscribe to every single thing that rolls off of Trump's tongue. And it doesn't matter what you say to people, they don't care. You wear a red hat, well, you're somehow you're somehow part of this gigantic problem.
And all that energy independence. That's how you do that. And you know how you do that? Drill, baby, drill. We were leading the entire goddamn world in energy dominance. And what they did, instead of keeping it where it was and letting it continue, they stopped it and let it keep going. You can sit there with your smiles and all that. I work in the wool field. They shut the fuck.
Trump's IVF plan is terrible. What? IVF is in. Oh wait. Government will pay for, or your insurance company will be mandated to pay for all costs associated with IVF treatment, he said during an event in Michigan, because we want more babies, to put it nicely. Yeah, so this is I feel like this is a topic that people are, like, they get up in arms at. Maybe this is your position on it, is that, like, maybe IVF is problematic, in some way eugenics, and I don't like, or is it that it's the fact that, you know, taxpayer dollars are going to be utilized here.
How that works?
Yeah, and that's how
Crazy how that
everything works. That's how everything works, right?
And how? And let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Andrew.
Okay.
How would we produce more oil? How would we get more stuff?
You
know
do
what we would have to
fracking.
do?
You open up
You know what
federal
we would have to
lands
do?
with leases.
No ban
That's
on
what you do.
fracking.
They shut down
You know
all
what- you know what-
federal
you know what-
leasing
you know what?
lands. Shut up, shut up.
You
This is
don't
my this is
understand.
my industry. Don't tell me how my industry works.
No, you don't. That doesn't matter.
Don't tell
You
me how
have
my
no idea
industry
what you're talking
works.
about.
Don't tell me how my
Because
industry works.
you know what, Andrew? And I mean this in the most abundant way possible. I am telling you how your industry works because you have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, I don't do it. Yeah, all right. Yeah,
We
okay.
have all of these major oil producers, right, that are refining oil, and they're sitting on leases that they're not using.
They can't because they shut them down, dude. They shut them down. That's what they did.
You see how mad he is?
They
He
shut them
cannot
down.
let
Yeah, this is my
anybody talk.
industry. I know what this is.
You see how
And
mad he
y'all
is? Look
fucking
at all
ran
that.
the shit.
And
Y'all
I would
put
be
it.
doing
This is one of the reasons I don't want to, like, engage with this guy, is because they focus more on, oh, look how mad he is, than just respond to what he said, dude. No one cares. Yeah, we hear that he's frustrated because you're not listening. You're talking over him. He's in the oil industry and he's trying to explain to you why he might be wrong. So just answer him. Don't fixate on the fact that he's, oh, you see how mad he is? Like, bro, it doesn't matter. Everyone's mad at you because you treat people like shit. They're just trying to talk to one another. Trump is not a true Republican, and this isn't a secret, yet people forget it often. Oh yeah. Yeah, he's and that's it's one reason he has torn apart the Republican Party in a lot of respects. It's become and you know, people argue one way or the other that it's now like this weird, like it's a MAGA party, right? It's like it's either it's split. They're either like with him or they're against him. Yeah, ego and pride. No, yeah. I want to listen a little more. I'm not going to join this one because I don't really know how to word and combat, like, you know, Kamala is 10 times better than Trump. Debate me. Like, I don't even really understand what that means. Like she might be good at some things that Trump isn't. Like, okay. Like, so then the argument becomes like this weird semantic back and forth of like, well, I wasn't specific about it. I was just saying that Kamala is 10 times better because Trump doesn't, like, he's not a good speaker. So Kamala's 10 times better at public speaking than he is. Like, okay, so you're purposely being vague. So we don't like, so there's no real thing that we're not coming to any sort of agreement. It's impossible to. He was one of the few that promoted Jesse Jackson when he was running campaign. Other Dems thought it was laughable, but Trump supported the Rainbow Push Coalition. Yeah, you know, and people forget that. And people forget where is that? Where is the video? Oh, here it is. Here it is. It's a Rumble video because you can't. I just tried to search this on Google, couldn't find it. Found it on Rumble. Check this out. Check this out. Hopefully my stream doesn't fucking doesn't close. Check. This is fucking hilarious. This really blows my mind.
The View with Barbara Walters back when
yeah.
they liked him.
Oh,
You ever
yeah.
seen that?
Yes, but I can't remember what you're referring to.
You should see it because it's bonkers. This is it.
How's
Watch this. This is bonkers. Go full screen. This is literally
real
bonkers.
estate mogul and a television star. But does he really want to add President of the United States to his resume?
Barbara Walters. Barbara Walters. And watch how this is like old school view, but watch how everyone responds to Trump here.
A lot of people would like him to. Please, let's find out, and please welcome my friend,
It's also, yeah.
Donald Trump.
My friend.
My friend, watch this. Just watch this. This is nuts. We're in an alternative universe, okay? Because this is not that long ago.
Everyone clapping for him. Everyone think, oh my God, it's Trump. Oh yeah, you're awesome. Now, granted, they have to because, if you're here, stand up and applause.
Go standing O.
Bro, watch this. Just watch how this goes. Watch this. So she's a Republican. That's easy.
Yep.
But everybody else.
Look at Joy
Hugs.
can't wait to get a.
Yeah, Joy's hit. Do you see that? See Joy's hand like out there, ready to greet.
That's easy.
Yep.
But everybody else.
See,
Look at Joy
Hugs.
That's nuts, dude.
can't wait to get a hug in.
Yeah, everyone's hugging. Look at this. Look at this. Kisses,
Barbara.
hugs.
Oh, and Whoopi. Whoopi doesn't deny.
Kisses to Whoopi. Everybody hugs and kisses. Even Joy Behar hugs
Even
and
Joy
kisses.
Behar hugs and kisses.
See? Now watch this.
So I'm going to take you at your word that you have not decided yet when you're going to run, but you're thinking about it, and you've expressed some of your views, which are controversial and in many ways, but not to her. Well, not to her. Okay.
I love him, dude.
Okay, you're a Republican, so, but let's say that you do decide in the spring, right? And your ideas resonate so much. On the other hand, we saw Newt Gingrich apologizing for his marriages and divorces. You've had 3 marriages, 2 sort of uncomfortable divorces. Do you think that the...
Not really. They were very comfortable.
Well, we won't review all that. Do you think...
Getting laughs right away.
that would bother anybody?
I think the country is doing so badly, they want somebody that's going to help it. I think the country is never been in a position like it is right now. It's being ripped off by every nation, every intelligent nation in the world, whether it's China. They're taking our jobs, they're making all our product, and then they loan us back the money, we pay them interest.
That is
Whether
crazy.
it's OPEC.
That's crazy.
OPEC, which is
Look at this.
they're
Watch
having
this.
a field day right now. How about the Arab League? They say, we want you to go in and attack Libya.
This is like, it's so wild to see this though. Like, it's so wild to see that, like Joe says in the beginning, like this like weird alternate reality. Like this, like these people couldn't stand. They can't stand him now, but now they're like singing his praises. I don't know if people realize this. I don't know if anyone realizes this. Trump understands exactly what he's doing. He plays the meme to a T. He knows how people are going to react. His tweets are on point. I think when he's publicly speaking, he goes off script and kind of messes up, but I still think it's calculated.
These are the wealthiest countries in the world. Why aren't they paying us?
Okay,
Why
so
aren't
then
they
they
paying
change
us?
their minds also. But you didn't answer my question.
No, I did answer your question. I really think
it won't
people.
matter?
I think maybe 10 years ago it would have mattered. 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The fact is, I think people want somebody now that's going to protect them and protect this country, because we're not going to be a great country for long if we keep going the way we're going.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Right now.
If you
The audience cheers.
Yeah.
When we have France.
So that's the funny thing too, is like these shows, people are really, they're very like so the audience members, they get pulled in and they have to respond in certain ways. But there are moments when the crowd's real feelings kind of pop through. And I think that's one of those moments where this is definitely a more liberal audience. And they 100% in that moment. Yeah, the clap signs are there, but I don't know if that was one of them. I get the feeling that it was one of those moments that people were like happy with what he said.
France leading the charge, okay? France. This is our new leader. By the way, they led for about 2 hours. After that, nobody's seen them. I don't know if you know that or not.
Geographically, so they should. Let me just ask a follow-up question to that.
Lead is the point.
Let me just ask a follow-up question to that. Let's say you run. You've given a lot of thought for this. Who would you like as your vice president? Possibly Sarah Palin?
Well, I think it's far too early even to discuss that. I'm going to make a decision sometime prior to June. I'm thinking about it very strongly. I think I'd do a really good job. I think I'd protect this country like it's not being protected. You know, it's funny. So many of the things I say, now politicians are saying, hey, that's right. Why don't we, like, why aren't they paying us? If you look at North Korea, South Korea, we're protecting South Korea. They're making a fortune. Let's call it hundreds of billions of dollars of profit on us. We have 25,000 soldiers over there protecting them. They don't pay us. Why are they paying us?
You'd be treating this like a business.
No, a business with heart.
Okay.
Believe me, there's a lot of heart. It's a business, but it's also a business with heart. We will...
I've heard that one of the things that the Eric Weinstein interview, he says, Eric Weinstein says that he's been in rooms with people who have done business with Trump, and they've said he's a guy you will do business with once, and then likely, but you won't do business with him twice. But he's a great businessman.
Destroy this country. It won't be a war. If the economics of this country keep going the way they're going, we're not going to have a country.
You're kind of a social liberal, Donald. You know, you're a social liberal. Could you actually get the base to vote for you in the primary?
Well, every poll.
Do you see the difference too, like in how she that was totally a great question and very, it seemed well mannered, and it didn't seem like she was really trying to like poke fun or anything. That wouldn't happen today. There's no way that she would have asked the question in the same way.
Is saying that I'm the one that does the best. They're doing polls.
They actually have you a higher approval rating than Mitt Romney, Tim Pawlenty, John Boehner. But out of those,
So let's just pause and think. Just
he's very poised. He's listening. He's
grasp.
like, yeah.
That's the other thing people don't give him credit for, like Trump rather, is that they think he's just there talking and talking and talking and what the hell? That's annoying. Shit, I can't even think. He just, yeah, like he's totally poised, listening to their questions, responding, not rambling too much. Like he's very Trump in his responses, but he's also being like respectful and knowing when to stop, and he's listening to what's being said. But the problem is, and this goes back to the question I had posed yesterday or 2 days ago, was, will they allow him to be elected now? Like, are they doing so much damage control at this point that he will be he's unelectable, because they will just either push him into legal hell? Like, what is it? What will happen? Because their guards are up now, you know, King. Putin just said that he would support Harris in the upcoming election. Oh man, dude. But you know what's going to happen though, John, is that everyone's going to go, he's a troll. He's saying that because he's actually supporting Trump, and he wants people to yeah, I don't think that's a real thing. We'll see what this guy is saying.
They do all kind of stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna loosen up a little bit. I'm gonna take the necktie off, and we're gonna have a good time. You know what I'm saying?
The guy that there were two moments I was listening, and I was like, oh, he was to light their ass up. The first one was the lady who brought up the price gouging, and I almost requested that. I was doing dishes, but I almost requested, just because I wanted to come up here and be like, oh, you want to talk about price gouging? Because, like, obviously they have no idea what they're talking about. But the price gouging thing is like, they're always screaming at us about socialism and communism and blah, blah, blah. And our plan was to bust up what? Monopolies?
That's it.
Bust up
busting up monopolies is different from price control. So when you bust up a monopoly, like monopolies are the ones that are controlling the prices because there's no competition. Busting up monopolies create competition within an industry, allowing for prices to come down because there's more people manufacturing them. Now, the problem with busting up monopolies is generally over the course of time, they find ways to sort of like merge back together. And there's even like loopholes. And I think like the petrol industry does this. Like, I mean, at least at one point there was like 4 companies, and now, well, this was like 2, but now there's like 6, but they're all sort of like under the same umbrella. So like the price gouging thing, like when you have governments controlling what the prices are, that's when things get out of hand. It's not when like busting up monopolies is the good thing to do, which monopolies are not allowed. Like they do not allow them, and they've done what we can to remove them when it becomes grossly obvious.
I'm quite actually interested to see what y'all have to say. Let's see. Gerald says I changed. Nadine says I'm more relaxed. That is true. I am a little bit more relaxed. Uncle Danny says you've been really chill. That is true. I've been pretty chill. Josh said I loosened up. I'm more passionate, more relaxed, a lot cooler. Chilling on them. That's right. From nice to nasty. Great content. You're chill and laugh. Nice guy.
I don't know. Again, I want to engage with this guy, but I don't. So he's got 1,000 people watching him. So it would be good to maybe get in there. There's a chance of getting donations from them.
Their energy, super nice, added cool things. Like that is true. Like, you know what? We do have like little things I feel like that we do, on live, like the Trump dance is funny. We hit that.
Yeah, these are people who don't understand Trump at all. They see the meme and they think that he's slipping up. The Trump dance, it's not insulting him. He's not like he's not insulted that people are also making fun of him. He knows what he's doing. And if you think for 1 second that he's unaware of it, I think you're the R word with a capital R. Like he is like how my grandmother acts in public. Like she purposefully will draw attention to herself and make everyone look silly because she doesn't care. Like, yeah, it gives people a laugh. It brings something light to everything. Now, is he perfect? Does he say all the right things? No. He says some idiotic shit.
That are watching this, you see what people like, and they like people to just be honest, just be themselves, man. Just have a good time, have fun with people. It's fun. Yeah. So anyways, I thought that was a good little exercise. Let's see who's next.
Should I go in there?
I'll see who's next.
Should I try and get in there? I don't know how long it'll take. He's got 1,000 people watching. It could be a long wait.
Hello? Hello?
Oh man, I don't know.
Hello? Next.
You're like wasting your breath. Always, dude. You know I do this. Like,
hello?
This is what I do.
Hey, what's up?
What?
Yeah, I just don't think Kamala is 10 times better than Trump. I disagree. I respect you for putting your opinions out there, but No way.
Okay. Why so?
I just can't think of any. Like, there's a reason that Harris had like a 31% approval rating at one point as vice president. Like, she's incompetent. She can't answer questions. She's not particularly articulate at communicating basic things. I just think she's a complete joke. Yeah, I think we're in big trouble if she wins. So
I disagree with that. I don't think we're in trouble if she wins. You know, again, the hyperbole is stupid. No point in engaging in that. You'll be fine if Harris is elected. You're not going to die. But the question is she suited for the role? You know, what would she do? You know, how would the country fare in the case?
she does, it just sounds crazy. And like even Democrats will, and like CNN will be like, that was weird. Like when they said, how do you solve inflation? And then she just like said, inflation is when bread costs more. It's like, yeah, we didn't ask you what it was. We asked you how to solve it. And then she was like, okay, let's do a anti-price gouging law. And then even the Washington Post and CNN came out and said, like, this is a terrible policy. We've tried it in the 1970s with Richard Nixon. It didn't work. So yeah, she's just like, she has no values. She doesn't have any convictions. She just asks her like pollsters, hey, what accent should I use today in this state? What policy should I say I support in this town? I mean, she's just a complete joke. Like, she should not be the
Kamala with that code switching though.
The ability to be able to answer questions is the most important, one of the most important things for you, right? And by the way, I just want to clear up some of the
here it comes. And this is, this may be a good defense or a bad defense, but he's going to bring up the fact that Trump just rambles, doesn't answer questions right, blah, 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 guaranteed.
Application whatsoever. But I want to say this. You say that you don't think this is a real top thing for you, right? And I want to play you this clip. I want you to listen to it, right? And I want to hear your live reaction. I'm really glad that you're.
No, I'm not gonna. I can't. It's gonna take forever. Probably better to try and engage with someone with less people watching. We're in trouble if we give 20 million illegals amnesty. Yep. Kamala is going to win by a landslide. Prove me wrong. Nobody could prove that at this point. And I think it's stupid that this is even a thing. I don't know how you could possibly know this.
You don't need to be here. But I'm just saying this.
Did they send them back, though? Do they send them back?
Yes, they do. If you get captured, they will send you back. Oh, okay. And even now,
ICE is bad, right?
ICE is not. No, that's if you say ICE in those. No, that's not true. ICE is not. No, not at the Texas.
But according to the left, ICE is bad, so they should be able to deport people.
No. I'm saying this: when you have people like,
you need to abide by our laws.
No, no, they do abide by the laws because if you break the law,
what about the Venezuelan gangs that just took over in Aurora County?
That's been debunked.
That's a whole different fucking thing too.
And Venezuela's gangs that took over that apartment complex and Hell's Angels was coming. That's been debunked.
Hell's Angels, that's not true. But
that's been debunked.
Has it? Has it? Chat? Are we? Is that really been? New information on Venezuelan gangs takeover in Aurora. Attorney's letters warned Colorado officials of Venezuelan gang control at Aurora Apartments. Aurora initially dismissed claims, but later acknowledged gang activities and arrests. Okay, so the Hells Angels were never coming, but they are there. Officials were fully aware weeks ago. Yeah, it's just, I'll show you guys what I'm looking at so you guys can see what's going on. Letters obtained by the Denver Gazette from the law firm presenting CBZ Management, whose apartment complex in Aurora was shut down over what cities described as safety issues last month, shows officials were fully aware weeks ago of accusations that a Venezuelan gang had forcibly taken control of the property. Aurora multi-family projects have been forcibly taken control by gangs and have immigrated here from Venezuela. When is this article from? 2 days ago. Okay. Okay, so it's real. Property manager for all 3 Aurora multifamily projects was notified of the takeover, and one of the client's housekeepers informed the property manager not to return to the Aurora multifamily projects due to the danger to its well-being. Our clients have for several months complained to the Aurora Police Department and the Aurora Code Enforcement Division about the lawlessness surrounding the Aurora multifamily projects. For the most part, the response has been very little and totally ineffective. So they're doing nothing, is what I'm seeing. They're doing nothing.
He enacted an executive order, and that wasn't good enough for the same people that were supposed to secure the border with the same bill that they drafted themselves.
You don't have to have a bill.
Then you should be mad at the GOP. Why aren't you mad at the GOP for not passing the bill?
You don't have to have a bill.
But they should have. They should have. So why is it? It has to be on Biden to make executive orders, which the Republicans have gone on him about it, right? Yeah, that he passes too many executive orders. He signed all these executive orders. It's a bad thing. President should not have that much power. And then when it came to them actually trying to pass a bill that they voted against themselves, it was only because they want to give Trump a win and not Biden. Come on.
Why?
Come on. Maybe if you're gonna talk, you're gonna have to be real about the mindset that you have when it comes to like actually coming up with reasons for why they should and shouldn't do something. Either the border is a big issue or it's not.
All right. So why didn't Biden secure the border?
Oh my fucking God. I feel like I'm talking to a wall.
But you're not listening. You don't have to have a bill to secure the border. I've been listening to you for the past 30 minutes. You have not said anything substantial. And then you try to go about Aurora, which has already been debunked. You know what? It doesn't affect my neighborhood with all these illegals coming in, but it does hurt the Black communities because they're taking over schools. They're taking over communities.
Oh my God. Where are you getting this information from? You got to stop listening to Breitbart or whatever right-wing media that you're listening to. It's trash. It's not happening. You came up and you said that they're taking up that they're causing the rising prices for your produce and all these other things. When you totally forgot that COVID was an actual thing that just happened. But some people are still getting affected with COVID as we speak, and they're still having to go get shots because of what's been going on with them. Because they're trying to avoid getting sick again, so they can actually go to work.
But they already told you that.
Think, Mimi. You got to try to put two things together and just think, man. Don't just listen to whatever's going on. Try to understand. Okay, well, how does that make sense? Right? You're talking about two people who are from Texas. We know our own governor. We know he is trash. We know he tries to bust people all throughout using our taxpayer money, our $150 million of taxpayer money to bust out immigrants. And then actually do what he's supposed to do, like fix the fucking grid.
Okay, so here's the problem here. Like you said, it's...
Hey, what up, Meta?
You ever watch Schoolhouse Rock? You ever watch Schoolhouse Rock? Remember Schoolhouse Rock?
I requested to be in this live. I definitely want to talk to these people because they're dead wrong about the Aurora situation. It's absolutely going on. And it has really everything to do with issues with immigration. Like, at least from where I sit, it'd be hard to convince me otherwise. I don't know what bill they're talking about, but from what I've heard, if they're talking about the immigration bill, I think people have said in the past that Republicans had shot down an immigration bill, border bill or something like that. That was, but it was stuffed full of a lot of pork in it. Yeah, the border bill. It was like there was a lot of crap in there that was just like it had to do with other stuff going overseas, a lot of money going overseas, and not everything for the border. So Static, if you have a link for it, let me know because I would love to bring it up.
And stuff like that. Do you think the IRS is part?
Now sit here and wait while a few key congressmen discuss and debate.
Send it to me. Shut up. Send it to me in Discord if you have it. Because I would love to have a look at it real fast. Or real fast. I'd love to even just have it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run to the bathroom real fast. Give me a sec, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry, 1 sec. Okay, let's
It's called a veto. If the president vetoes me, I have to go back to Congress and
oh, they're playing a Schoolhouse Rock thing. Maybe he stopped.
We can even play Chunction Junction. We can go there, right? But I want you to understand something, right? If that bill, you can argue the bill, you can fight with the bill, but the committees agreed on this bill, right? And what happened was, are you there, Mimi? Mimi, are you there? Frank, do you get there we go. Mimi, are you there?
Yeah, you have me muted.
Okay, so here's the thing, and I want you to understand, right? That bill is sitting there, right? It hasn't got to the president's desk so he can sign it. They argued about the bill. They fought by the bill, right? They're just fighting and arguing over this border bill that's standing here, and it still hasn't got to that president's desk to sign it. So guess what?
Why though?
In order for the Republicans, they need, because they control one part of the legislation, and guess what? They still haven't got that bill to Joe Biden's desk. So guess what? Joe Biden has nothing.
Guess what? Joe Biden isn't in charge, brother. Let's see. The Senate has released a $118 billion bipartisan border security bill after months of negotiations. Congress has grappled with securing a deal amid concerns about raising the number of migrant encounters on the U.S. border. According to the data of the U.S. Customs and Protection, the number of Southwest land border encounters has continued to increase over the past several months, with just over 300,000 reported in December. Some Republicans have said that they will only support additional aid to Ukraine if border security is prioritized. Others have been concerned about the level of spending in proposed legislation. Yeah, no shit. The bill would fund an increase in ICE detention capacity from 34,000 to 50,000. Still doesn't seem like enough. It would mean people who arrive in the U.S. illegally would not be able to claim amnesty, and it would force the government to shut down the border at times where there is a 7-day rolling average of 5,000 encounters per day or 8,500 encounters in a single day. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The bill would also allocate $20 billion to immigration enforcement, including by hiring hundreds of border patrol agents. Okay. Aid for Ukraine and Israel. The bill also contains aid provisions, which includes a $14 billion in aid to Israel, $60 billion for Ukraine, and $4.8 billion to Indo-Pacific nations. It also includes 10 billion pounds in humanitarian aid to citizens in Gaza and West Bank and Ukraine. Hello. You want to know why people are fighting against this? Because of that. that shit right there.
Willing to educate yourself, or do I have to play conjunction junction? Which one do I need to do? I'll let you make the decision for yourself. But do you know the direction I was going in, Frank? Do you kind of get an idea?
Oh yes, sir. I was way ahead of you, my bro.
Let me ask you, do you guys think I should play conjunction junction? What you guys think? Besides the chat. The chat. Do you guys don't play? You want to hear conjunction junction? I think they do. They said,
let's do it. Yeah.
Conjunction junction. Play it. Okay.
God. He is. I'm muting. It's very obvious that it's very obvious the problems with the border bill. The border bill is all the bullshit in there, the aid for Ukraine and Israel. That's what it is. People doing liking this stream, dude. Bad enough I'm sitting here following this dickhead. How can one be so condescending while sounding so stupid? Dude, just spend a little bit of time on TikTok and you'll see.
You have a choice.
Still playing this song. Cool. Because, couldn't possibly be an adult about any of this, could we? Big brain. They're doing big brain plays over there on TikTok. Okay, I think they're finally turning it
off. What's up, Fly? How you doing?
What it do?
We got somebody that we're trying to educate them. So I play just a bill, and I'm just playing conjunction junction to try to educate them about how things work.
Oh, you're gonna need the remedial version. I don't think they understand.
Yeah, bring more of your friends on there to stroke your ego more. That'll help you. That'll for sure help you. They'll give you that confidence you need to look stupid on the internet even more.
Guys,
hello.
Yeah, we're almost at 100K likes. Get to 100K likes, I get to end the live stream, guys. Let's get me there, guys, so I can. It's like 1 o'clock, and I got some things I got to do before I go to sleep.
Bring me up, brother.
Let's tap that screen a little bit, guys. Just give it a little power tap. You can take a rest. Let's get the 95 to take a rest. Let's get the 95, guys. Mimi, I just want to see if you understand all this because, if not, I think it's just, there's no point of us really having a conversation at this point. And there's other people I want to get to in the box before I end.
No, I'm not really understanding it.
So you don't understand conjunction junction and I'm just a bill, or do we need to? What do you think?
I think
it doesn't have to have a bill to close the border.
Yes, they do.
All right, just drop her, bro. She's not going to
stop asylum seekers from coming across the border.
Okay, hold on.
Jesus
One moment.
Let's see.
Had a bill that had to be passed for him to do that.
No, he signed an executive order stopping people from coming across the border.
Do you realize how that happened, Mimi?
Did he not close down the airport?
Mimi, there were laws put in place. Okay, Mimi, you're going to listen now. There were laws put in place before Trump was ever even thought of going into office.
Can the president close the border? Relevant laws and considerations. The ongoing debate between some members of Congress, the president, over how to respond to the record number of alien encounters at the southern border has recently intensified. One disagreement centers on the scope of the existing authorities conferred by Congress to the executive branch to deter illegal border crossings. During COVID pandemic, the Trump and Biden administration imposed significant restrictions on alien entry and access to asylum that were tied to declared national health emergency. The question remains whether the executive branch could impose similarly broad restrictions under existing immigration statutes in situations not tied to a declared public health emergency. I'll be honest, I don't know the law behind it. It seems to me that they might be able to if they can consider it a national emergency. Prior to the Trump presidency, there were at least 2 occasions when past presidents substantially restricted operations at ports of entry on the southern border. These past restrictions were short-lived. Furthermore, these executive measures did not prompt legal challenges that required federal courts to assess the executive branch's authority for such actions. The measures taken on one of the occasions, the aftermath of Kennedy's assassination in '63, have constituted a full closure of ports of entry. Really should make this bigger. I don't know why I haven't. And I'll show you guys what I'm reading. Another occasion during President Reagan's administration, 9 ports of entry were closed for a matter of days after the abduction of the Drug Enforcement Administration agent in Mexico. So both of them were pretty big. Nothing like that has happened. While these closures were brief by operation and did not face any court challenge, President Trump's use of executive action to restrict the entry of certain individuals at the border faced judicial scrutiny. For example, Trump's proclamation 9645, which barred entry nationals of 7 countries, was upheld to the Supreme Court in a 5-4 decision in Trump versus Hawaii as a valid exercise of executive authority. The Trump administration also implemented the Migrant Protection Protocols, also known as the Remain in Mexico policy, which required the return of non-Mexican nationals arriving illegally at the southern points of entry to Mexico during the pendency of their formal removal proceedings. The Biden administration later revoked the Remain in Mexico policy in action. The Supreme Court affirmed, stating that the Secretary of Homeland Security had the discretion to implement the policy or to terminate it under existing law. That step says, Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution states the United States shall guarantee every state in the Union a Republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion. I'll be honest. They're talking about you would then need you'd probably need the Supreme Court to interpret that as this is as an invasion, which I don't think that this is technically. I know what you're saying. So there's an interim final rule that would make certain aliens ineligible to apply for asylum. The Ninth Circuit held that the proclamation combined with the rule was invalid because it directly conflicted with 8 U.S.C. 1158A, which provides, among other things, that aliens arriving anywhere along the U.S. borders may apply for asylum. The court also held that the rule violated U.S. treaty obligations, including the principle of non-refoulement, thus affirming a lower court ruling enjoining enforcement of the rule. The Supreme Court denied an application to stay the injunction, with 4 justices indicating that they would have granted the stay. Trump also placed significant restrictions on on the entry of certain aliens under two statutory authorities in light of the public health emergency. On a provision of the Tariff Act of 1930, the Biden administration continued restrictions based on the first of these statutory authorities, commonly referred to as Title 42. There were two lawsuits that were focused on the executive branch's Title 42 order. The first lawsuit challenged the lawfulness of the order in federal court, and the court issued a preliminary injunction blocking its enforcement. U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit affirmed district court's ruling in part, holding that the executive branch could expel plaintiffs from the country, but not in places where they would be persecuted, or tortured, and remained.
No, you're here. It's probably
Okay.
connection issue.
All right, so the next person is up. Hey, the Shag.
Yeah, what's up? How's it going?
It's okay. How are you?
All right. I've been listening to what you guys said, and I was wondering if you would be so kind as to
Who are you voting for? Who are you voting for?
I'm really not sure. I'm not voting for.
Oh, wait, hold up, Shag. Hold up.
Okay.
A lot of times in my experience, when people say they're not sure, they're normally just voting for Trump. So we much prefer, if you are voting for Trump, just say Trump.
No, I seriously don't know. I'm not going to vote for Kamala.
Okay, if the election, I'll ask it more like this: if the election was today,
right?
Who are you? You're voting third party. You're voting Harris. You're voting Trump, or you're not voting at all. There's like those four options. What out of the four, which one are you going to do?
I would either go with the Libertarian Party, or I would not vote at all.
So you're someone like Cornel West, correct?
Yeah,
Cornel West, the
not
Libertarian
really.
Party. So you'll go
No. I mean,
or Jasmine Sherman. What about Jasmine Sherman? Jasmine Sherman, she's a Libertarian Party.
I would probably if it were right now, I would probably not vote. But it doesn't mean I don't agree with some of Trump's policies.
Okay, so that's the four options. Okay, so the four options, you're not voting.
Yeah.
So why should I let you talk? Why should I let you talk on this platform?
Because
if you're not voting, because if you're not voting, you don't have an opinion.
No, because here's why. Because as of right now, I don't have enough information on a lot of these candidates. I don't really know what they stand for.
What is your main issue? Like, I want to know, what is your main? I'm gonna ask two questions. What is your main issue with Ms. Harris? What is your number one issue? Why you're not voting for her?
I guess I just don't really. I don't trust her. I don't know what her motivations are. I don't know who is necessarily. What I don't like is how she was installed. She wasn't voted into this. She didn't win a primary.
Can I take this one, Dark?
Yeah, because that's
Okay.
not true. But I mean, I'm going.
She wasn't. She didn't win a primary. There's nothing
All right,
false
so
about that.
The Shag.
You can just call me Tom.
When we voted for Biden,
Mhm.
Harris was on the ticket. Okay.
Yeah.
And when we voted, when we usually vote, we vote for delegates, right? And those delegates make a decision. Now, Biden endorsed Harris.
That's good.
Okay. A lot of us would have rather seen Harris than Biden. We like Biden, don't get me wrong. But we felt that Harris would be able to make more of a change. Now, for you to say that you do not trust her, and you said out of your own mouth that you don't know enough about the candidates, how can you not trust somebody you know nothing about? What you need to do is take time to actually read about the things that happened while she was district attorney, the things that happened while she was AG, and the things that happened while she was senator. And while you're doing that, you can also read about the things that happened while Trump was a real estate mogul or a failed real estate mogul, the things that happened while Trump was a celebrity TV star, and the things that happened while Trump was president. And you can weigh those things.
Yeah.
and see.
There's no need
that
to be
Harris-
condescending. You can talk to me like an adult. I'm 39.
I'm not being condescending.
You
I'm just
are.
speaking to you
You
because
are.
you said you didn't know.
Hey,
You're laying it down
okay,
thick.
so well, hold on, wait. Oh, whoa. Hey, hi. One, she's a mod.
Okay.
Two, don't overtalk the mods.
Oh.
Three.
Mhm.
Okay. When her mouth is moving, your mouth is on mute. 4, I don't allow people to talk over Black women on my panel. Those are things I hate. Like, it just kind of gets under my skin. So
How could I possibly know that she's a Black woman?
Okay, hey, listen, it doesn't matter. I brought the issue to you. Okay. So for me, out of respect, I will hear you out. If you want, I prefer you to go on mute, and then go from there. And when it's your turn to talk, she'll send you an invitation to unmute. But if you do it, I will just probably, if you do it again, then you'll be dropped. If you can't follow those rules, I don't. Because for one, you're not. I don't think you really want to give you an opinion because you really don't know what the hell.
No, I do. I wanted.
Right
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
So if you're okay, go ahead, Fly. Just continue. Please don't talk over.
And can I put something
Fly,
in?
go ahead. Fly, go ahead. When she starts talking, that means we're not talking. Go ahead, Fly.
So you said yourself that you did not know enough about either candidate to make a decision. So I am encouraging you to read up on each candidate so you can. We are less than 100 days away, less than 90 days away from this election.
66.
Yeah. And you have not read up to find out anything about the candidate. So I'm sorry if I seem like I'm being condescending, but it doesn't seem like it's the foremost of your priority list to even care to learn about them. You feel that going off of what you've heard come out of other people's mouth is enough to say, well, neither one of them, and I don't trust her. But I'm going to give you a couple of things that she has done. This is a woman that has worked hard for the people. She has taken on the shady practices of mortgage companies and gotten millions back for the people that were frauded by those mortgage companies. She has taken on those school systems that were basically taking advantage of people and charging exorbitant rates for them not to even get the proper teaching that they were supposed to get, and got money back for those students. She has taken on the prison system and put in programs in the state of California that Maryland and Delaware are adopting today because it cut down on recidivism rates in the state of California. She made sure that first-time offenders had programs to go to so that they would not reoffend. That's what recidivism means. She has actually taken it upon herself to actually go into the tunnel where the D-rugs were taken in through the border, okay? And find out exactly what's going on so that she can help stop it. She has actually taken it upon herself to go to the countries that these people are mostly coming from to find out how they can help stabilize those countries so the need for them to come back into our country is not there. These are the things that she has done. Now let's go to Donald Trump. He has talked about how horrible this country is, yet has offered no solution. He has talked about what she hasn't done, yet he hasn't done anything. And if you look at the things that he did pass, how it backfired and actually put us in a worse position than we were before. He has been convicted of SA. He has been convicted of fraud. He is a 34-time felon. Now, this is the same man who, when he was running against Hillary, said nobody under indictment should be able to run for president. Oh, how the tables have turned. So these are the things that are there for you to look at to see who actually would be better for our country. And I didn't hear you say you don't trust Donald Trump, but he is the more untrustworthy out the two. Could it be because she is not a white woman? that you don't trust her? And I'm gonna let you speak now. Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead. Please take a minute, and then if you want to address, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I mean, if those, I mean, there's no possible way I could check on everything you said. I don't, the reason I might not vote, and again, I have a lot of, like every American I think out there, they have a lot of work to do as far as finding out who the best candidate is and who represents them the best. Every 4 years, people have a lot of work to do in that respect. And Kamala may have done some of the stuff you said, and she may have done some good things over her career as a as a lawyer, as a vice president in the Senate, all that stuff. Trump was president for 4 years. The country that everyone thought was going, the things that everyone thought was going to happen didn't happen. This country didn't burn to the ground. Do I agree with everything he did? Absolutely not. I don't care what race, creed, anything that anyone is. I think it's really important that, people are elected because they are the best for the job. They represent, a good amount of merit, like they have the expertise and knowledge. But I would love to see, people of different backgrounds occupy all spaces for sure. But I don't think that makes anyone any more qualified. And I think everyone can agree with that. But the reason I came up here was to ask about you had said that the Venezuelan immigrants was false. Like, did I hear you correctly, or did I miss?
No, you didn't hear that correctly. I said that it was overblown to be something that it wasn't. They tried to make it sound like they had taken over the city of Aurora, and that the Hells Angels were going to come in and swoop and rescue and all this other fucking bullshit, but it wasn't.
No, the Hells Angels didn't go, and they're not. But the Venezuelan gang is like occupying, multifamily housing, and the police aren't doing anything about it. So that is something that's true.
They're not.
No, they are.
They're not. No, here's what happened. There's a video camera that showed a bunch of dudes with guns and with sidearms in a long rifle that tried to enter into a couple of places and tried to extort them for cash, saying that they're now the landlords or whatever because the original landlords are out of country or whatever, and so they tried to do that. And then the people called the police several times saying, "Hey, you need to do something about this." So the police finally came out full force. And he went door to door trying to get all this information from them. And then when they tried to get all the information from them, they didn't really provide anything worth of value. They didn't see or they didn't even run into any of the people that supposedly were taken over in those places. There was no Venezuelan gangs in those apartments that they went to door for. All right. So they didn't find anything. They said that all the people were telling the truth, that they didn't find anything, that they didn't know anything, they didn't really have a whole lot of information on it. So the police said, okay, there's nothing more we can really do. And then later they had to, I think the city actually had to put where they had to leave the complex because it just wasn't safe anymore.
So this article from the Denver Gazette 3 days ago, that was updated 10 hours ago, is false. Is that what I'm hearing?
You have to give me what you're talking about. I'm not sure what
I mean, you just search up Denver Gazette attorney's letter warned Colorado officials.
I mean, you can just explain to me what you're.
So there's attorney's letters warned Colorado officials of Venezuelan gang control of Aurora apartments.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that's actually happening. It's not, I mean, it seems like you're downplaying something that's pretty dangerous. And that is obviously enough.
The police themselves have already spoken to the media about it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They said they didn't find any other issues where that. Okay. So, just forget what the police said because they were actually there on the grounds when other shit happened.
All right. Okay. This is something that's like ongoing. I mean, it's not like,
But here's the thing though. I'm not saying it's gone away, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's being blown out of proportion. Like there's going to be this hostile takeover of a bunch of immigrants who are going to just take over a bunch of apartment complexes. And for some reason, they care about a state that they really don't give a shit about, making it seem like it's a thing just to try to get a political win over the opposition, which is, blue team, right? So because you brought that up, it makes it sound like you're actually more on red team than blue team. So if you're trying to be centrist about it, or you're trying to say that you're an independent, I don't think that's the fucking truth, bro.
Well, I mean, no, it's bringing up a point here that someone's being misled with information. I'm reading an article from the Denver Gazette.
If it was that big of an issue, the city would send in its task force, its FBI, its military, right? They would send in whatever they need to go squash this thing once and for all. And it doesn't seem like it's that much of a big of a deal that this thing's actually happening. Maybe it was a one-time occurrence and they tried to get away with it and they couldn't and they fucking left. But we don't know, right? From what we know is that the police have already intercepted it. They talked to the people that were there on site themselves, and they said that the information that they've given was enough to substantiate the claims that were being made about what's going on in the complex.
Yeah, but the police aren't doing anything because, so you're saying that the police aren't doing anything because they don't think there's enough happening, that there's just other people just there and it's not a big enough danger for them to do anything? I mean, people say
the intel that they collected did not show that there was this hostile takeover. They were actually like sitting in the apartments with whatever, drawn at people and doing all these other things. That's been debunked. That's not what's happening. Yeah, and I'm not saying that there's probably not a situation where it's probably not ongoing. Maybe it's happening every few hours during certain parts of the day or something where people are trying to extort money from some of these people. I'm not saying that's not happening, but I'm saying the way it's being presented is not accurate. Something is wrong there.
Yeah, and you could be right that they're trying to use it to sway people politically, which I don't necessarily agree with. But I do think that this is like absolutely tied to some of our issues with immigration. Just like we can't have. I think it's important that we have a more secure, border, to not have just like people, like as many people as possible rushing over. And then you start getting stuff like this happening where you're like, okay, well, we have these.
Would that be all borders or just the southern, sir? Would that be all borders or just southern?
What? No, all borders. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, but see, the point is, I'll point out southern border, and it's not actually the southern border that has the most problems. I have to agree with the guy at the bottom. It is not a problem. It has been debunked several times, and y'all keep trying to emphasize that Aurora is not true. That literally is a false.
No, it's not. It's happening. If you could provide me a source that says it's that, I would like to.
Sure. No. It has been debunked several times, and people just keep trying to bring it back up because they keep trying to push that rhetoric. It is actually not true. It was, if anything, it was one apartment, and it was not an entire apartment complex, and it was a homeless family that was trying to have a warm spot. But the Aurora thing, the whole apartment complex, it's been condemned. It has nothing to do with any Venezuelan anything. Maybe you need to go read that article again, or maybe look at a credible source.
It's the Denver Gazette. This isn't. What do you mean? This is like this is a lefty news outlet.
The Denver Gazette is very right leaning, and it's very. Go look it up. Look up the Denver Gazette.
I'm looking at it right now.
And here's the other thing too.
Yes, I am. I'm reading the article. It's right in front of me.
Hold on.
Attorney letters warned Colorado officials of Venezuelan gang control at Aurora Apartments.
You can't turn your camera on. See, that's not proving anything. You can't turn your camera on.
I can't?
Just because I'm supposed to go by Trust Me, bro?
Let me ask
this. Oh, I don't have live access, I guess. So
Shag.
It's here.
In that article, do they provide references for the original source that they got that information from?
I believe they talk about, it's the property manager. They have properties in Brooklyn. It's a CBZ management. They were getting calls from their, I think it was their, I'm just looking it up real quick because I'm like looking at it right here.
Okay, so I'm asking for a verifiable source that you can go to straight from that article to verify that those statements are true.
Here's something I want to add to it real quick.
Well, let me get my answer first, please, Frank. I appreciate it.
But I mean, CBZ management is a giant rental management system. They're the ones that are communicating with the like they have properties in Denver, Aurora, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, and I'm reading this from the article. This is quotes directly from the article that they're contacting officials about the problems that are happening in their properties.
Okay, so you weren't able to find a source that you can go directly to from that.
This is
that what you're telling me?
Because it's they're quoting these people directly from in here. So the Denver Gazette article says the property manager for all three Aurora multi.
No, the answer is no. He wasn't.
What do you mean?
No,
No,
he
that
wasn't.
this is from them.
That's another source. What she's saying is that you can actually pull that up directly from. Usually, when people have a quote or something, they have more than one source of information it's coming from. You're saying that doesn't make anything. Anybody can use a name of a company at any point.
At the end of the article, do they have where their sources were from? Let's try that. Go to the very end of the article.
It says reporter Carol McKinley contributed to this article. I mean, this is I'm really confused at what you're asking because, like, this is
So
like
it
so
says reporter
someone.
Carolyn McKinley contributed to the article. What else does it say after that?
That's it. I mean, that's the person who wrote this article.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me just make sure I look at the real author
Okay.
here. Oh, Nicole C. Brambilla is the one who wrote the article on September 3rd, 2024. She updated it 10 hours ago. The other person I mentioned contributed to this, probably did a lot of the calling. And what my guess would be that her contribution may have been to get quotes and talk to the people who were involved with this.
Okay.
But they're directly quoting the company. There's no other place to go.
The reason why I asked that is because you have a primary source, you have a secondary source, and you have tertiary sources. Okay? A primary source is going to be straight from the horse's mouth. That's where you're going to get all the information from.
That's what you have.
A secondary source refers to a primary source. You're able to go from that secondary source directly to the primary source to make sure that that information is true. And a tertiary source is like the article you're saying. They're providing quotes, but they're not providing the information for you to go and make sure that everything is true.
So you would need the call logs is what you need.
Yes. Either
Let-
call
no,
logs or documents that prove, either the call logs or documents or something that proves the statements that they're making.
Okay.
Guys, real quick, do you mind if I interject?
Yeah, go ahead, Frank.
Okay. Now, and of course, I'll let you respond, Shagsworth. Here's another article, KDVR. This is Fox 31. All right, it's saying, and I'm quoting this right from the article. APD interim chief Heather Morris responded to the claims Friday and said gang members had not taken over the complex. Quote: "I am not saying there's not gang members that don't live in this community." Unquote. She said in a video posted in social media. Quote: "But we are learning out here that gang members have not taken over this complex." End quote.
So that was
Now,
Fox
with that,
31.
Can you provide,
Fox 31.
What's the name of the
KDVR.
article?
the sources that they use?
I'll put it on screen.
Can you just
Go
tell me
ahead,
the
I'm
name
sorry.
of the article? Because I can't see that. It's too damn small.
There's a few that are like it, so I don't want to confuse you.
Just tell me. I'm typing it into my search bar.
All right. It's police respond to claims that Hell's Angels is coming to Aurora.
Now that was we just make them bigger.
Well, we
Okay,
also
can
so
you
we
show the-
I accepted.
Can you show the link bar? Like, can you go up to the link bar so we can see the actual link bar up top?
My phone's plugged in because it's low on power here. I'm just like,
Okay, does that make it easier for you, Shag?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm
I
looking
have a
at
few
the article.
account stuff up here, so I got it.
Yeah, well, we had already said that. Like, I have no problem. Like, okay, they're not going. That's fine. What we're learning.
You know that when you the one thing when if you look up something or you want to research something and you are a left leaning or a right leaning person, the article's just going to pop up first. It's going to suit what your narrative, right leaning or left leaning. So the best thing to do is to go look past the first article. Go down and find something that is more medium, in the middle, like AP sources that are non-biased. Because you always, whenever you look up something, the first thing that's gonna pop up is whichever side you're leaning towards.
And if you
Don't
like,
ever.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. Yeah.
if you like, I can pull up a list of the news sources and where they lean. Would you like to see that?
No, I use Ground News a lot of times, which will give me like a wide array of articles. I didn't tonight, but no, that's fine. And you're totally right. And I see your point here on this. You're not exactly wrong that the DPD is not aware of any apartment buildings being taken over by this gang. So it's likely that the article that I was looking at, the management team was obviously concerned about their properties and may have, reported as whatever it was.
Yeah. That's the way I took it. I was like, that sounds kind of fishy. Why would a bunch of bikers? And then I was, kind of going into it. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's weird. And I saw the video with the police there, and she actually responded on to the camera on site and everything. I was like, oh, okay, so they did do something about it.
Right. And
'cause I was concerned also.
Very few sources are unbiased anyway, and again, it goes to your point that should check multiple sources. And actually, if people aren't using Ground News, it's a good app to use because they'll give you like articles, like it'll show you what stories are like how they're being portrayed, and some are like in the middle, some are left, some are right. Some are not being covered by the right, some are not being covered by the left. The only other thing I wanted to
You can look at a bias chart. You can look at a bias chart for news information. A bias chart tells you the news that is actually leaning left or right or middle, center. That's what Sin was asking you if he wanted to show you. They have a full bias chart.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the main point: is that immigration is not this hostile takeover that everybody's making it out to be. Also, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you were on here earlier and you listened to us debate. The person that was here earlier too. But it's this thing that it always comes up every election cycle. People are always worried about it. They're worried about many other things on top of it, economy, whatever. But it's like they kind of pick and choose when to apply it. And people who actually show up on site to do the thing says, oh, we're not seeing anything here. Like the Trump rally that actually tried to show up in Eagle Pass and found nothing. And then you get people who say later, oh, we did find, look at them trying to rush this gate. So it depends on the time. It depends, what location, depends whatever the feds are saying, depends what the Border Patrol is saying, But the fact is that, yes, both sides can agree. We can do something more about the border, and there's a chance to do it. But it didn't go through because one side of the party just chose not to do it. Well, and so if it was this big of an issue, my issue was, why did they not just pass the bill, their own bill?
And I'll tell you why I think they didn't. And I think most people are on board with this because in a bill that's supposed to seek like border protections or, robust change to our borders and making sure people like make sure it's secured, making sure that there's places for people to go who shouldn't be going across the border, whatever, you have billions of dollars set aside for Ukraine and Israel and Gaza.
So I'm going to stop you right there. And the reason why I'm stopping you is because they took that out of the border bill and they made that its own separate bill. And guess what? The Republicans passed the bill for the money going to Ukraine and Israel and other countries. However, they still did not pass the border bill.
Let me see if I can pull up the article too.
I would like to see that because that would be news to me.
No, that's actually what happened.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it would be news to me. That's what I'm saying.
But it's the thing. They literally did. They did it 3 times, and then the first and second one, the second and third one, they removed the stuff. In the third one, they literally had from a Republican. It is a Republican. They get gifted everything they want. Donald Trump went in and told them, I can't run. I need to run on this, so you can't pass it. The Senate passed it, but the House wouldn't even look at it at first. Then when they finally did put it to the floor, it failed.
But they did pass the bill to send money to Ukraine and everything like that.
This was by The Guardian. Senate Republicans blocked bipartisan border security bill for a second time. This was after they took out and voted and then passed the aid bills.
Frank, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you go to congress.gov and pull up the bill that they did pass for the monies that were sent to Ukraine?
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up.
And guys, while we're doing this, you guys are listening to the conversation. It is free to tap the screen. We are 1,800 away from getting 95 thousand likes. He only wants 100,000, so we're 7,800 away from 100,000.
Yes, please, guys. If we gotta, we'd love to hit 1K because I want to end this live stream. So I'm like tired. And there's, like I said, a few things I need to do. If you guys can, I would appreciate that.
Thank you. And also, he does have a gift goal here that was not achieved. So, Dark, you do need to change your gift goal. And he has a subscription goal. Please.
Oh, no, they don't have to give. It's okay.
This is another reading this article real quick from The Guardian. This is another reason that like I don't fully subscribe to like what's going on in our political system, and I don't put faith in Republicans or Democrats because of the political games that they play like this. And it's just more of a broken system. And I think it's perfectly okay for someone to say, I'm not voting in this election because I'm sick of putting into a system that doesn't give back. You know?
You're always saying Democrats.
No. I said Democrats and Republicans, mind you.
It's not Democrats. It's just Republicans.
No, they both do this. They both play games.
No, they do not.
They absolutely do.
It is not, sir. It is not the same. It's not the different wings of the same bird. It's not, because the Democrats literally try to pass legislation to help the American people, but Republicans want to harm the American people and take away from the American people. They only line the pockets of the rich.
No.
And that's the thing. Y'all keep trying to that same wing of the same wing, two different wings of the same bird. That's not true.
Yeah, but how can you say that when
if you look at it, no, sir, if you look at the policies that are passed, that Democrats have passed, and the policies that Republicans have passed, and you look at the fact that right now we have a lame duck Congress. So there's nothing being passed. This is the slowest and most unproductive Congress we've had in the last 60, 70 years.
Agreed.
Since the Great Depression. They have done nothing. They have passed nothing. They literally are not trying to do anything. Over the last 2 years, they have passed less bills than any other Congress in history. That is not the Democratic side. That is the Republican side doing that. When we had the House and the Senate, guess what got passed? The Infrastructure Act, the Inflation Reduction Act. All these great things that we have to be thankful for now came from that. But ever since Republicans took over the House, they've done nothing. That is only one-sided. I wish people would stop trying to say that. It is not both sides.
No, I don't. Yes, it is. I mean, year after year, or election cycle after election cycle.
And Sin, correct me if I'm wrong.
So I was trying to find the name of the bill itself. What I could pull up was defense.gov website. Where is it? Defense.gov website, and it says supplemental bill becomes law, provides billions in aid for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan as of April 24, 2024.
And I do.
Truth, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What do you want to do?
Select me on the big screen real quick now. Okay, so this is the defense.gov site, and that's the supplemental bill becomes law, provides billions in aid for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. So that was the bill that was added to the border bill, right?
Yep.
And it still passed.
Yeah. Shit. I'm not, I don't like, I'm
and
not.
that was a bipartisan, bill that was pushed. So both sides voted on it, and then the border bill came around, and then that was voted against.
Right.
I'm sorry, Cutter. I was in the bathroom, but you're not wrong.
The other thing that I find, and because being the libertarian that I am, like partial libertarian that I am, is that like I'm not for like big government, and a lot of
Swag. You do see that was a passed bill.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, no, I totally acknowledged it.
Do you have any response to that? Because that is a major talking point with people saying, oh, well, they didn't pass the border bill because of this. So they took out the Ukraine funding and things. As you see, it was passed, but yet the border bill is still not passed.
Yeah, no, that's I had you. I don't know if you were here or not, but I had said that's one of my issues with these political parties is that they play political games where they want points with their constituents or with the voters or whatever, and it's one of the reasons I don't want to contribute to this election is because I'm sick of the cycle. I'm sick of big government. I'm sick of like government's not there. Is not supposed to like take care of us. It's inflated things to a point that is out of control. And one good thing to take away from Trump in some respects is how he wants to.
No, there's nothing good to take away from Trump. So you know how we have this inflation.
Can I finish?
Infrastructure Act. I just want to point out one thing. We have an Infrastructure Act, right? So the Infrastructure Act was voted against by the Republican Party, but yet they go to their constituents and say they got them that. So no, it's not. Again, that's not it. And Trump literally is the reason why we don't have the border patrol thing, because he wants to run on it.
So, I understand what you're trying to say, Swag. However,
My name's Tom. It's not Swag.
Oh, I'm sorry. It says the Shag, and I said Swag. I do apologize, but I'll call you Tom from now on.
Thanks.
I understand what you're trying to say, Tom. However, you cannot change a system from outside the system. So when you decide not to participate, when you decide not to be a part of anything, even though you're tired of seeing what's happening, you're going to continue to see what's happening because you're not participating or doing anything to make that change.
When I see people who represent my interests, I'll be a part of the system. But until then, I would rather concentrate on my local elections that really matter and live my life in a happier bubble. Because at the end of the day, I still take care of the people who are closest to me, people in my community. I love and respect them, and raising a family to be strong, independent individuals anyway. And again, I'm not here to stand or simp for these corporate cronies. They're shitty people overall. They're not looking into the best interests of most of us. Again, big business in general, and that goes for Democrats and Republicans, not just Republicans, not just Democrats. Like both sides are just, it's just rife with corruption. And again, I don't want to keep contributing to that system. But the only takeaway, and the thing I was going to say before was, let me just finish this point, and then you can talk. The one takeaway that I get from Trump a lot of times is him wanting to take, like, to really make some parts of the government smaller, and help increase a little bit of or strip regulation away in certain areas, in order for economically for companies to come back to the United States, and to make it profitable for companies to operate in the United States.
No, he's not. Okay, so hold on one moment. Let me just address that, and then I'm gonna give it to you, sis. I promise. So the things that Trump decided to strip away with a lot of regulation, the first thing that I know that he stripped away the regulations from was from the mortgage companies and things like that, and the stripping the middleman out of the lending and everything that with that. When he did that, what it did is it opened up doors for major corporations to come in and buy up a whole bunch of houses and drive up the market so that regular people like you and me would not be able to buy a house. That's one of the regulations that he stripped away. Also, that did not help the common everyday citizen. It helped major corporations. Another regulation that he stripped away, when you're looking at these companies that like factories and things like Amazon, where they, they packing the stuff up, he stripped away a lot of regulations for them to actually have to report accidents that happen in work. And you know what that did? It actually denied people from actually getting workman's compensation for those accidents that were not reported. So once again, it helped the major corporations, but it did not help the everyday people. So when you're talking about smaller government, all the regulations that I saw him strip away did not help with smaller government. It actually helped with big corporations, sir.
You don't have to call me sir, by the way. I'd prefer you didn't. Thanks.
You're sitting here worrying about me calling you sir, me calling you
Well,
swag.
I find it different. I find it disrespectful.
Hold on, I'm not done talking, sir.
You never are.
And I'm not being disrespectful. I'm actually trying to show you respect by saying that.
Well,
but you're trying to show you respect by saying that. But
fuck off, you loser. Kicked.
Trump literally
kicked me. The big problem there is, so they were actually kind of cool. They actually did bring up sources, like those articles for like Aurora. They actually did bring up sources that sort of like went back on it. But then her claims of everything else, it's like, well, you got to, again, where's your primary sources, right? Oh, shit. Yeah, what's wild, dude, what's wild is that, so I'm like reading an article and she goes, what's the primary source there? What's the primary source? I'm like, you mean the article that I'm reading from? Like they talk to the people? That source? Are you gonna come up here and talk to a black woman like that? You can talk over a black woman? I'm like, what? I didn't even know she was black. She could have been that. How about that chick? She said the police said nothing was happening. You should have asked. So we trust the police now? Ooh. Them's fighting words though. Bro, she was black. Yeah. Bro, it was just like, I get that these are not like, oh, she's a mod, don't talk over her, she can talk and you can't. And it's like, well, don't ask me questions. Like allow your person to finish their thought and stop interrupting them. Like, and I'm sorry, but I think everyone's 100% within their rights to not contribute to a failing political system, and one that I think is just way out of whack. I think the voting shit is way out of whack. I think the mail-in voting shit is whack right now. I think we need people talking about sensible gun control. We need sensible voting laws. I do vote. I'll vote in my local elections. You know, vote in you know, be involved with community stuff. That to me is way more impactful than the president of the United States. Sorry. And the one thing I didn't get to say that I was going to say earlier, and they totally took everything off in the wrong direction, was, you know, the fact that Kamala Harris was not voted in the primary, and she started saying, well, she was voted in with Joe Biden. Just so everyone knows, Biden's still the president. Still the president. She doesn't get to step in and do anything. She still needs to go through the primary process. Everyone else does. But instead, she was installed by people that we don't know, that we haven't seen. So, like, that whole point is moot. It doesn't matter that, oh, we wanted her and not Biden. No, you didn't. She polled horribly. Tulsi Gabbard made it farther than her. Like, it's, nobody liked her 4 years ago. Or sorry, nobody liked her in 2016. I'm sorry, nobody liked her in 2020, 2019. Now all of a sudden, she's the most popular thing since sliced bread. No one knew what she was doing 3 months ago. You know, and I get the vice president's job is not really, like, she's really just like the backup, right? She's the backup quarterback, basically. She certifies the elections. She is the president of the Senate, right? Like, she presides over the Senate. And she takes over in case Dumbo fucking, you know, unalives. No, I haven't seen the Don Lemons on the street stuff. Let me see.
You're watching the Rita Panny Show, and now it's time for Lefties Losing It. Let's start, Lefties, with this almighty group meltdown on CNN because Nancy Mace allegedly mispronounced Queen Kamala's name. Watch this demented
This is their favorite shit.
And Kamala Harris, if Kamala, you said this before. Nancy. It's Kamala. You're doing this on purpose.
Hold on. This is hilarious. Let me where are you guys? Guys, this is how you spell it. We need to get shirts made with this on it. That's how you say her name. All right? We need to get shirts with that on it. Don't you think? I think we should make that. Kamala. My way is better. Sorry, Red. I see you over there, Red.
Disrespectful. You can't expect people to respect your service if you don't.
That's disrespectful.
Walked that stage 25 years ago.
You're a white woman disrespecting a black woman. That is.
Oh shit! He did it. He did it. He pulled it out. He pulled the card out.
Away from women.
Dyson, let me get in here because I want to.
Did you hear that? He said, you're a white woman disrespecting a black woman. Why? By calling her the name everyone has called her for years, decades. How long was she in public life before we were told that her name should be pronounced differently? And can someone alert the president? Because he's still pronouncing it this way.
And Kamala are here today to make a major announcement in their efforts to lower.
But it's Kamala.
back to the mass meltdown on CNN. Look at the reprehensible way they treat a lone conservative woman, a woman who carries the trauma of being a rape victim and who showed far more grace than I'd be capable of facing this barrage of lunacy.
When you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white.
I'd be like, don't touch me, bitch. Don't touch me. Don't leave your microaggressions at the door, please, sir.
Disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't a racist.
That is complete.
No, you don't have
Go, girl.
to intend racism to
No.
accomplish
You are
it.
intending that
Your
I am
disrespect
racist,
of Kamala
and
Harris
that
is part and parcel of
why
a tradition of disrespect.
Why can't you just,
Congresswoman, why can't you just?
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm saying what the practice is racist.
You are. You absolutely are.
Let me disrespecting. No, what's disgusting is your disrespect of her.
Professor, she doesn't know what a woman is, and if 25 years ago,
white women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid to.
Oh my God. This shit's insane. People are still doing this. This is still a thing. This is so 2020.
The price of blood to make this country what it is, to tell them they're not real women.
25
they
years
care
ago,
for your babies.
Fuck these people, man.
Just hysteria and hyperbole there. There's much more of that lefty losing at madness, but I won't subject you to it because this next bit is even better. Remember Don Lemon? Before CNN sacked him, he's back doing vox pops and being laughed at by the good folk in Jersey and Atlantic City. First, he tries to shame Trump backers by suggesting they're sexist.
Who do you support? Trump. I plead the fifth. Trump for the win. Tell me why.
I can't really call that right now, but I just feel like she's not good for president. She's good vice, but not for the actual lead role for the country.
Does it have anything to do with being a woman?
No.
No, because no one cares. No one cares that she's a woman. It's just that no one really knows what she does. And he's totally, I think he's totally right. Yeah, she's a good backup QB. Like, something happens, she's just step in there real quick. Okay, fine. But she wasn't likable. She didn't win a primary.
No, because I feel like women, nah, you're not going to give me that.
Your money's on Harris.
Yeah.
Who do you want?
Trump.
Why don't you like Harris?
She doesn't have any experience.
She's the vice president. She's a senator.
Yeah, no experience. No.
It doesn't get any better when Don talks to women.
Well, I want Donald Trump. I just feel we need somebody that has a stronger background with the military and the world in general.
She was a prosecutor and an attorney general and a senator and a vice president.
Is it there to learn what voters think? Or
she kept people in prison longer, working like slave wages. So I don't think she's a really good person at the end of the day. I did pull up an article about that, and I didn't get a chance to read it. I wanted to see if it was true. She spent years subverting a 2011 Supreme Court ruling. This is by the American Prospect. I don't even know who this is. Overseeing the judicial panel nearly found the state in contempt of court. This article is from 2020. Repeatedly and openly defied U.S. Supreme Court orders to reduce overcrowding in California prisons while serving as the state attorney general, according to legal documents reviewed by the Prospect. Working in tandem with Jerry Brown, Harris and her legal team filed motions that were condemned by judges and legal experts as obstructionist, bad faith, and nonsensical, at one point even suggesting that the Supreme Court lacked the jurisdiction to order a reduction in California's prison population. Didn't she have a relationship with Jerry Brown? As far if like there was like some, she had a as far as I know, she had. Yeah, I know, King. Sorry. Despite receiving a straightforward directive from the U.S. Supreme Court to identify prisoners, for release over a 2-year period, upholding a 2009 ruling that mandated the same action over the same timeline, the state spent the majority of that period seesawing back and forth between dubious legal filings and flagrant disregard. By early 2013, it became clear that the state had no intention to comply, leading to a series of surprisingly combative exchanges. Oh, Willie Brown. Wait. Oh. I gotta drink some alcohol now. Dude, made me do shit. Sorry, dude. While Harris' ultimately unsuccessful presidential campaign saw questions raised about her criminalizations of truancy and her tough-on-crime reputation during her time at San Francisco District DA, her role in California's prison reduction case largely flew under the radar, though it was decried at the time as concerns grow about Donald Trump's subversion of the law. He, along with the Attorney General William Barr, currently defying a Supreme Court ruling by refusing to restart the Deferred Action of Children Arrivals program. The potential Democratic vice presidential nominee engaging in relatively similar obstinacy is jarring. How did Harris's office turn a simple court order to release low-risk prisoners to prevent cruel and unusual punishment into a constitutional fiasco? Federal court seldom looks to prisoner release. It's a remedy of last resort, but California was a unique case. With its uniquely awful prison system at its height, it was stuffed to some 200% of its designed capacity. There were not enough beds or medical personnel, but an extreme excess of bodies. In one prison, 54 prisoners shared a single toilet. Oh my God. Preventable deaths due to substandard and overstretched medical care obscured every 5 to 6 days. Suicidal inmates were locked in telephone booth-sized cages for 24 hours at a time. Jesus. Yeah, that whole thing meta, like I was a little sus about that. He was like very unprofessional. Like he was like 3 cognacs deep after, like before he like said that. It was funny, but like Oh, so she held people there, even though they were told to like get rid of people from prison. She basically kept them there, and in the meantime, we're redesigning the prison to accommodate 145% capacity, but that wasn't permitted. They still had, after 2 months from the initial deadline given the Supreme Court, California still had 9,600 prisoners more than the court-imposed ceiling. The state submitted a proposal that involved relocating inmates to fire camps to fight wildfires and preventing out-of-state prisoners from being returned. But upon review, the 3-judge panel found that it still left California's prisons some 4,100 prisoners over the hard limit. After a series of back and forth, the 3-judge panel arrived at the solution: the suspension of good time credits for nonviolent offenders, shortening stays often by just a handful of months. Even the state's own expert witnesses had testified years prior that he did not oppose good time credit measures, and that there were no correlation between length of stay and recidivism, meaning that the public was not at risk. Other states, Washington, Illinois, even tough on crime New York, had implemented these programs with success. The court found good time credits alone would do more than enough to close the gap and solve the problem for good sense. Some 5,300 inmates were eligible for release under the good time credits. So here's the thing. So they tried to make it as though this was all Kamala's doing, that she somehow was like the savior of these people and released them. She wasn't. She was following orders, and then it's, from what I just read, essentially took way too long to do it. And then they basically forced it, and we're like, nope, this works. It works in other states. Get these people out of here because it will help. But Governor Brown, with Harris as his defense lawyer, did not agree. Oh, Harris's office launched into a campaign of all-out obstruction, refusing to answer why they could not simply release low-risk, nonviolent inmates to conform to the Supreme Court's request. So this is going against. Defendants offered no explanation, however, why they could not release low-risk prisoners early, the June 13th ruling stated. But Harris's office didn't stop there. Instead, they claimed on behalf of the state the Supreme Court had no jurisdiction to even request such a release, refusing to answer questions as to how they would implement the Supreme Court ruling in courting a constitutional crisis. They resulted in a stunning, sharp rebuke from the three-judge district court panel in June of 2013 ruling. When asked by what date the state could identify their list of prisoners who are unlikely to reoffend, defendants defiantly refused. Judges wrote and stated somewhat astonishingly that our suggestion that we might order defendants to develop a system to identify low-risk prisoners, a system that the Supreme Court had suggested we might consider ordering defendants to develop without delay, is a prisoner release order that vastly exceeds the scope of any court's prior orders. The Supreme Court, in fact, ruled that the three-judge district court panel had exactly the authority in its 2011 ruling in tortured logic. District Court continued defendant's suggestion that the Supreme Court statement did not authorize the early release of prisoners or even consider that that question. Yeah, we don't need a tertiary source or a secondary source. We need like the office recordings of how she came to all this. We need her words. I actually need to get Kamala on the phone to verify all this. Harris's Attorney General's office, the ruling added, continually equivocated regarding the facts in the law. To the point that the panel strongly considered holding the state in contempt, they rejected the action only because it would have delayed the release of nonviolent inmates even further and aided the state's obstruction campaign. The court would therefore be within its rights to issue an order to show cause and institute contempt proceedings immediately. The ruling reads, our first priority, however, is to eliminate the deprivation of constitutional liberties in the California prison system. To do so, we must first ensure a timely reduction of the prison population. Harris, of course, was acting on behalf of the state's governor, who preceded her as state AG, was notorious for his posture on this issue as well. He might have chosen not to defy the Supreme Court. Her legal work in particular not only drew ire from the court, it also raised eyebrows among observers. Defiance of the federal court order requiring the reduction of California prison population is reminiscent of the Southern governors in the 1950s declaring that their defiance of federal court desegregation orders. That might be a stretch. Both were misguided efforts to undermine enforcement of the Constitution. Adding Barry Krisberg, longtime president of the National Council on Crime and Delinquency, the legal arguments that the state is putting forward make no sense. I don't understand. I don't understand like where they got that she's some sort of savior here. What up, Tim? Like this doesn't read in her favor at all. Now, granted, she's doing the bidding of the governor, but In late 2014, lawyers from her office claimed that the nonviolent offenders needed to stay incarcerated lest they lose bodies for fire camps in the wildfire-plagued state, as Jackie of the Daily Beast reported. Kamala Harris AG office tried to keep inmates locked up for cheap labor. What's up, Leon? Am I colluding with Russia? Absolutely, bro. I got my paycheck in the mail this morning. In order to reduce population of California's overcrowded prisons, lawyers from the California Journal made the case that some nonviolent offenders needed to stay incarcerated or else the prison system would lose source of cheap labor. 2011, the Supreme Court ruled that Brown versus Plata, the California prisons were so overcrowded they violated the Constitution's prohibition of cruel and unusual punishment. 3 years later, in 2014, the state ordered all nonviolent offenders who served half of their sentence to be eligible for parole. So this is what they were talking about. They're saying that Kamala is responsible for that whole thing, which I don't believe she is. They basically just like made it so. Harris was quick to disavow the memo, claiming she had no knowledge of it, and telling BuzzFeed News she was shocked by the argument. But it squares firmly with all sorts of arguments her office was putting forward for multiple years preceding it. Harris, meanwhile, was known to run an extremely centralized Attorney General's office with few things coming in or out without her express sign-off. The ruling hand down in the country's highest court, this was one of the highest profile cases she managed in her role as Attorney General. An extremely high-stakes case involving a decarceration order she spent years resisting and is unlikely to have escaped her awareness. So this also, like, I don't know if she actually responded. Was it 2019? Is that what that was?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence.
Cares if you smoke marijuana, it's stupid anyway, but she lied, so we gotta hate her even more.
She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California, and she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts.
I don't remember her response, so I just want to see what her response is to this here.
Poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a
It's a non-answer.
Decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about re-entering former offenders and getting them counseling.
The bottom line.
I don't. So I'm interested in her that. So they cut it off. I don't know why they cut it off.
Initiatives that were about re-entering former offenders and getting them counseling.
Re-entering former offenders and getting them counseling. So from what I read, she didn't really do anything. They tried to keep all these inmates in, and then they essentially just let it all go. Like they just said, okay, well, we're doing this now. We're forcing you to nonviolent offenders. They just go. I don't know what she did.
Bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Our Democratic Party, unfortunately, is not the party that is of, by, and for the people. It is a party that...
Yeah, she stomped her on that. That was... I feel like, you know those dreams you have where you're like, you're standing in front of the class and you look down and you're naked. That's what happened to Kamala on that stage. Leon says, damn shame I was right about conservatives. Yeah, Lauren Chen definitely is not who she says she was, is she? So here's been in case of Daniel Larson's another one, an ex-felon sentenced to 25 years to life under California's 3 strikes law. Their 3 strikes law is no joke, y'all. Like, my brother almost fell victim to that. But even if Danny was innocent, his conviction should not be reversed because he waited too long to file his petition, according to the California Innocence Project, which took Larson's case. And while her retrenchant position to decarceration of the state's prison does not align with those stories, her role is attempting to subvert the authority of the country's highest legal body for the sole purpose of preventing the release of a number of low-risk prisoners has largely gone unchallenged. Yeah, this story, the Daniel Larson story, I think is pretty deep. Like, she was blocking evidence essentially that would have exonerated him, and yeah, she was very unapologetic about it. Supreme Court prison reduction order is deeply troubling on multiple counts. First, the increased salience of criminal justice reform in the Black Lives Matter era. A forceful opponent of decarceration on the ticket hardly conveys that the Democratic Party is on the side of racial justice. Second, placing someone with a history of defying the Supreme Court on the Democratic ticket would significantly undermine not only Joe Biden's pledge to return to the pre-Trump era of governance, where the 3 branches of government are seen as co-equal and the courts are respected. I don't know, man. It's interesting. Dude, so many tabs open right now. I was trying to keep track of all these things that we were talking about. I was like learning about. I was learning about lame duck congresses because of that. I don't even think that chick knew what a lame duck congress was. Red brought up the Laffer curve, and I wasn't familiar with it. The Laffer curve illustrates the theoretical relationship between rates of taxation and the resulting levels of government tax revenue. The Laffer curve assumes that no tax revenue is raised on the extreme tax rates of 0 and 100%, meaning that there is a tax rate between 0 and 100% that maximizes government tax revenue. Oh, you're good, Meta. We don't care. Man, I have to read into that. Now is not the time. The Infrastructure Act is something that Democrats tout all the time. They talk constantly about the Infrastructure Act and how it's helped. And they talk about how Republicans they voted against it and how that's a big minus. So the Infrastructure Act is also known as the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill. It's a historic legislation signed into law by President Joe Biden on November 15th, 2012. Okay, so this has been passed. What are they talking about? The act authorizes $1.2 trillion in spending over 5 years, with 550 billion dedicated to new investments and programs. Roads and bridges, yeah. But 110 billion for roads, bridges, major projects, including 40 billion for bridge repairs and replacement, 17 billion for major projects, reauthorization of the surface transportation program for 5 years. Public transit gets 39 million to modernize transit and improving accessibility. We're gonna make sure all blue hair liberals can get on. Railway, 66 billion for Amtrak maintenance, track upgrades, and high-speed rail development. It would be great if we ever see high-speed rail in the United States. I don't think we will, though. Power grid, 73 billion for power grid upgrades, including transmission line and construction and research for new technologies. Electric vehicles, 7.5 billion for a nationwide network of charging stations. 55 billion to improve drinking water infrastructure, including lead pipe replacement and water quality enhancements. 65 billion for high-speed internet access and digital infrastructure development. 21 billion for environmental remediation and legacy pollution cleanup. Transportation safety, 11 billion. And multimodal freight policy establishes an Office of Multimodal Freight Infrastructure and Policy with the Department of Transportation. The IIJA is financed through a combination of redirecting unspent emergency relief funds, targeted corporate user fees, strengthening tax enforcement on cryptocurrencies, other bipartisan measures, revenue generated from higher economic growth resulting from investments. So I guess I would ask you guys, like, what is your, like, I don't even understand what they were trying to bring up. Oh, they were trying to bring up like their great record that they, but it's, so this is one of those things. This is one of those wins, right? That I believe this is one of those games that people play for political wins. So this was passed. It was bipartisan bill in Congress that gets it passed, and then Joe Biden signs it into law. Huge win for Democrats. Look at what we did. Look what we did. Again, like, to me, it just seems like it's part of the game. Like, I could be wrong, but I get the feeling I'm not. Let's see. Nothing in here for Ukraine, huh? I guess in 2021 there was nothing. I wanted to see what the votes were. That. It looks like it passed, like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, no, it was in 2021. I was just trying to see what the vote spread was on it. Yeah, I mean, I would say that those who voted against it greased palms on both sides. Yeah, that's where I'm thinking, like, that's why it was passed, is because it made people look good. You know, it garnered respect and votes where they needed them. So is what it is, right? People gotta grease the palms, as it were. Well, I think this was a pretty successful show, guys. I want to thank you for hanging out with me. It's 1:30 in the morning, and I can't believe we have more people now than we did 2 hours ago. But it's been a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Hit the like button on the way out. If you can, guys, or if you think about it, Discord link is down in the bio, in the description. If you haven't joined the Discord, please think about joining the Discord, subscribing to the channel, liking the video if you're watching after the fact. And, you know, if you can, become a member. We got a lot of things going on, and any help you guys can give keeps us going and keeps the channel moving, doing better. Yeah, Static, I gotta have you on again. Miss you, pal. Step, have a good night. Devastator, have a great night. King, be good, man. Everyone who lurked tonight, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the likes. See you guys next time. Toodles.
I like to put stuff online.